Hello, everyday leaders. Tonight is Tuesday, December the 15th, and I am Melanie Ake coming to you from the Everyday Leaders studio in Indianapolis. And I am really excited tonight.
Hello, everyday leaders.
Bringing leaders to you. Oh, I'm getting a little feedback. I think we're hearing, right? The great thing is what we're doing on Everyday Leaders platform all through COVID, bringing leaders to you that are inspiring their lives, changing, pivoting, doing amazing things. And so tonight, I wanted to bring you somebody that I really wanted to celebrate because this girl has got it together. She has written 2 books. She has started a podcast. She has already had 2 global panels, one for domestic violence and one for sexual assault. The third one is coming up this Friday morning, December the 18th at 10 a.m. Eastern. So I brought her on tonight with one of the panelists because we're going to talk about breast cancer and survivorship. Super excited. Regeline Gigi Sabat, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
And thank you for having me here today. It's an honor, Melanie. I appreciate you.
I am so excited. And we have another guest, Kelly Eckwurzel. You are a 2 times breast cancer survivor. Thank you from my heart for coming on tonight.
My pleasure indeed.
So also, I want to tell everybody, both of these ladies are John Maxwell team members with me. So it's another special connection. I absolutely just want to celebrate everything that both of you stand for, because even if people don't have breast cancer, have never experienced breast cancer, we know somebody in our life. This is one of those things that it's touched every single one of us in the world, kind of like COVID, right? When COVID happened, it has touched every single one of us. And it's so important. And so, Gigi, I want to just talk to you a little bit about, you've started to kind of put these panels on and these discussions, and they have been such a success. Talk about your history and then how your vision was to create these panels.
Yes, ma'am. Now, when you say history, you mean in regards to me personally?
Yes, girl.
Yes, so I'll backtrack a little bit and I'll tell you here, my parents came to this country from Haiti around 35 years ago, and my parents instilled in my brothers and I the importance of obtaining an education. So I did. I attended the University of Central Florida in Orlando. I obtained my BA in political science, pre-law, and sociology. And then I interned for Senator Rubio during my undergrad studies. And then I also pursued a degree in law. And while in law school, I became the SBA president, the Student Bar Association president, which means I oversaw all the organizations in the school. But here's the thing, little did I know I was being abused at home. I got the shock of my life one day when the abuser charged at me while I was on the couch. I'll never forget, I had just got done studying and I was on a phone call with a colleague from SBA. And the abuser charged at me, almost strangled me to death, beat me, threw my phone across the room. And I'll never forget when I tried to get up, I fell flat like a vegetable and I couldn't get back up. And at the time, I didn't understand why. But I found out later on by a domestic violence advocate that it's because I lost oxygen to the brain. So again, I am truly grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to be able to serve God's people on this new spiritual platform, is what I call it, that he has given me. It's truly an honor to serve his people. And hence the book, Walk With Me, and in God First, my second book, because I want to raise awareness in regards to having God first place in our lives. And I want people to know that we wouldn't have all these issues that we have in society if people were to keep God first place in their lives. And so essentially, when God commands you to do something, you do it. I didn't know I was going to have these 3 global virtual panels of survivors events this month or in the last month. I didn't know that. But when he commands you to do something, you do it. And so that's what I did. Essentially, he commanded me to do the domestic violence one first, then sexual assault, and then breast cancer. So here we are. And it has been truly healing and empowering. And again, I'm just truly grateful to be able to serve God's people. I'm grateful to have you as the master of ceremonies for those events as well, Melanie. And Kelly, I am grateful to have you be a part of the breast cancer event as well, to speak about your story, because it is important to raise awareness about these topics.
It is.
These topics go hidden or undiscussed, and hence why I created those discussion groups as well, so that not only we have the events or the conferences, but we're able to take it to the next step. We have that call to action for folks to go to and to discuss it further and deeper in a safe place, with what better way than leaders who have survived it themselves.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's been the most impressive is to kind of see you create this. And when you ask me, and I'm so honored to have been the master of ceremonies for both of your events and then getting ready to do this one on Friday. It's so important because as you sent the names across, and I'd say, oh my goodness, I can't believe the stories of some of these women that had never, ever shared their story before, and the power that it gave them, the empowerment, right, to talk about something. Well, we've all gone through something maybe that we've hidden in our lives. And so being able to connect to a group and join that group discussion and then bond with other women, it has been, and men, women and men that have experienced these things. And so now, as I see you putting together this third panel, I say, this has touched everybody, right? We forget how deep this runs. And so I'm just so proud of you. And I wanted to celebrate you tonight because it's a lot of work. It's not just like, hey, let's go invite some people and have an online discussion. You know, you're about empowering people for their life. And so I really just appreciate you, Gigi, and wanted to celebrate you tonight.
Thank you, Melanie. And I want to mention as well that this is going to continue. If you know someone who's going through domestic violence or sexual assault or has breast cancer or is going through that, let them know about these discussion groups that are on Facebook. They can find it and they can request to be a part of it and just answer the questions. And then you will be approved or not by admin. But definitely reach out because we're here to help you. And that's what the discussion group is about.
Absolutely.
And the events. Thank you.
So I wanted to put on here real quick. So this global virtual panel for breast cancer survivors is going to be on December the 18th, which is this Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I'm going to put on here some of the two links, and I'm also going to share those in the chat. So if you're following the chat, I'm going to post these links here in a second. One is the event link, so you can sign up on Eventbrite. And I think there are only so many virtual seats, right, Gigi? So those are selling out.
That's right. We're about to be sold out.
Yeah, and that they're free. So you can join, and then there's going to be a discussion group. So I'm going to post that in the chat here too. But I wanted to make sure that you know that it is this Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you can put it on your calendar, join us or get into that discussion group afterwards with the next panelist. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Kelly Eckworth here. Kelly, you have just been beside me for the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years. And I've watched you go through so many things in your life, challenges and survivorship on so many different levels. And so I am just so honored to know you, first of all, just as a person. You are an amazing soul. So I'd like for you just to share a little bit about your story and then how this panel, what's so special about being a part of this panel to you?
Okay, I would be happy to do that. And I just want to say, I am, we learn new things about each other all the time. I didn't realize that Gigi had attended Central Florida. I went to South Florida University. Wow. So I went to USF many moons ago. So cancer, unfortunately, in my family has been something that has been around for a very long time. The first time that I remember hearing about it was in the early 60s when my uncle was diagnosed with 2 different kinds of cancer. And I can remember my mother and grandmother going, shh, don't tell anybody, Uncle Fred has cancer. It was something that had to be talked about quietly because it was treated as if it was contagious. Now, fast forward from that time to now, and I am one of 7 in my family who have had cancer. And unfortunately, I'm the only survivor. I guess I should say, fortunately, I'm here, but unfortunately, the rest are not. I was first diagnosed with cancer in 2000, had a lumpectomy, radiation therapy, as well as chemotherapy, and thought everything was just perfectly fine. And then fast forward 17 years, and guess what? I can't say that it's back because I got 2 different kinds of cancer. So it was something that was just blew me away back then. I didn't know what to do or who to turn to. And fortunately, I had and have a great network of people that were there for me and continue to be there for me. Had to have a double mastectomy because since they had done a lumpectomy the first time, I was unable to save one breast, and it didn't seem logical to me. For those that know me, I'm the logic numbers person. It didn't seem logical to me to be lopsided and have one and not the other. So I figured if one was going to go, the other was as well. Been doing really well. And then on Friday, I had an MRI and they told me I have a cyst on my spine, which just drove me crazy for the last 2 days, wondering if it was benign or malignant. And thankfully, I found out about 3 hours ago that it is benign. Now, I still have to do something about it, but you know what? God has gotten me this far. He's not going to drop me now. He's going to take me all the way through this journey. And I'm here to help others like others have helped me. I can vividly remember many years ago talking to someone who, I know people think I'm crazy when I say this. I described this woman to a T. I was at an exam, and this woman walked into the restroom where I was. It was the day after I had been diagnosed the first time, and she talked me down because I was so nervous and so upset. And here I was walking into an exam that was going to, help me create part of my career. When I tried to find her the second day, I was told that this lady had passed away 5 years ago. But I described her up to and including the pin that she wore that she was infamous for. I'd never met her before. And she was there for me. So I have had people, I'm going to call them angels, that have been there for me. And some of those angels are still living on this planet Earth, and some of them aren't. But God has been with me and helped me day by day to be able to help others. And that's what I'm here for, is to help others. If somebody needs to talk, I'm here. I am a coach, and I do a lot of coaching of mostly seniors, but also a lot of recovering people, whether it's from breast cancer or other or addictions. I do both.
Mm-hmm. Kelly, I want you to talk to us, the listeners and the viewers tonight, because you are someone that you have just decided every single day is going to be a great day. You are one of the most inspirational people that I know. And I think that has a lot to do with your able to survive the way that you do, right? Because every day you wake up and say, today's going to be a fantastic day. Yep. Every single day. You have quotes and pictures and memes and
everywhere. You can see them back there.
And so just talk about how that really makes an impact in your attitude.
Well, I was very blessed to have two very strong women in my life. My grandmother went across the Atlantic 8 times by steamship. 6 of those times she had several children with her. She ultimately had 7 children. My mother was a single parent long before it was ever something that anybody wanted to do. Not that any of us ever want to do it, but a long time ago. At any rate, so they were 2 very, very strong women in my past. And my grandmother, I can remember my grandmother saying time after time, honey, it's a choice. Whatever you do, when you get up on the right side of the bed, whether that's the left or the right, and it's always a choice. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to feel bliss and joy today? And if you do, go for it. It's just that simple. It's a choice. It's always a choice. Is every day great? Oh, heck no. Today was hard. Between the diagnosis, and I've had technical issues with my phone, with my computer. It's been crazy. Mm-hmm. But it's also been good because we're here and we can help somebody else. That's the important part, is helping others. I think that's what's been my purpose in life for as long as I can remember, just helping others.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's so important. We learn from you because you put the right people in your life. You are constantly adding value to those around you and showing up. And I think that's really key to learn. If you're going to survive anything, you've got to be able to put the right people around you. So
yes.
What a great lesson.
Yeah. I'm very blessed in that respect. I have a tremendous tribe.
Tremendous tribe. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing that. I'd like to share now just the site. So I put in the chat here the Eventbrite registration. So if you're looking at the chat, and I'm going to add this to the notes as well. So if you're watching now or if you're watching the replay, you're going to be able to go to this and still register. There are a few seats left, and this is a free event, but I want to make sure that you have the registration link. So when you do go to this registration link, I just want to share the page. And you can see what that looks like right here. All right. So breast cancer awareness, and that's Friday, December the 18th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And it's a panel of 12 amazing people that are going to share their stories of survivorship. So we would love to have you join this. Anything else that we need to know about the registration, Gigi?
Just make sure to reserve your seat because, again, we're about to be sold out. Most likely it will be sold out by the end of tonight. So reserve your seat now if you're listening to this message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to take them next to the breast cancer discussion group because, like you said, this isn't just about the panel. It is about the panel, but there is another stop, right? There's another section, there's another support. So, like anything else that we create, we want to make sure that the next step is that you can actually bond with people that are experiencing what you have. And so, for people like Kelly that have been through this for several years, what she'll be able to do is mentor other people that may have just getting diagnosed, or if you're someone that's listening right now and you've just been diagnosed and you're not sure exactly what to do, right? You're afraid. This is the perfect time to join this panel and to connect to these women and men that are experiencing this. So here is the group. Let me share this real quick. And just so that you can see, once you go to this Facebook group, you'll be able to see this. This is what it'll look like. And it's specifically on this breast cancer discussion. So there are several links. If you're on my Everyday Leaders event page, there are some links included in the announcement. So you can go to there as well. And then I'm going to share this link on StreamYard so that if you want to go to that group, you can join that group and connect. I think it's really, really important. Sometimes, you're afraid to ask those questions, but that's why this has been created. We want to support you.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
important to get the questions answered.
That's
Absolutely.
right. And over the years, it will continue to grow. You see 11 members now. Essentially, that's what happens prior to the event. You'll see those numbers go up after the event because essentially people will understand more in depth, as we discussed it during the event, what that group is truly about. We're going to go more in depth about that because, again, that's the safe place to continue this discussion about breast cancer and to continue to educate others about the topic and to help be supportive to others.
Absolutely. What would you say, Kelly, as a breast cancer survivor, what was one of the biggest things, when you were just diagnosed? What was one of the biggest fears that you had to overcome?
I think it was the uncertainty of not being there for my children. And even though my children were almost grown, they were still late teens. So, it's, unlike a lot of the people that I know that, they were in their 30s, 40s, or 50s and their children were younger. Mine were teenagers. One was in college, one was still in high school. But just the uncertainty of not knowing if I was going to be there for them. And now, just recently, I was blessed to become a great grandmother. So, yeah, God got me through it.
It's so wonderful. Congratulations. I know you have lived a healthy and full life. And, you're just getting started because you also are the coach for this bingo size. And so you're helping now the senior citizens exercise and stay healthy and fit and keep their minds fresh. So just so proud of everything that you're doing and accomplishing to be a mentor to so many of us, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool. So Gigi, can you tell us a little bit about the rest of the panelists and how you chose them?
Yes, of course. Well, God chose them. I didn't choose them. Yes. And I truly believe that he already knew who was going to be on that panel, just like he knew who was going to be on the other panels as well. And here's the thing, everyone brings something unique to the table in regards to breast cancer. I share this with, I don't want to give too much away. They have to reserve their seat and tune in. But here's the thing, you're going to hear from Matthew, who is a man. Yes, he's a man, but he lost his fiance, Gail, to breast cancer. And he's going to talk about his recovery in regards to that. Then you're going to hear from several women who have gone through it themselves or who are still going through it right now as we speak. So they have it right now, and they're still going to speak about how they're overcoming every day, daily.
Mhm.
And they're going to discuss with you how to never give up. But then you're also going to hear from Mari Gomez, who's the founder of the Mary Strong Foundation, which is a breast cancer survivors organization as well. Then you're also going to hear from her husband, Daniel Gomez, who also had to witness his wife go through breast cancer. And he never gave up. And then you're also going to hear from Yulia, whose mother is going through breast cancer right now. And you're going to hear how it affects not only the individual who's going through breast cancer, but how it affects that person. And what better way to just hear from that person themselves, a loved one going through that. So she's going to educate in regards to that aspect that we don't discuss every day in society, but we need to discuss this aspect. We need to discuss how it affects the loved ones around you. It affects the survivors themselves, and it affects also the husband or this partner or the spouse of the person with breast cancer. We need to educate in regards to breast cancer.
Mhm. Absolutely. I think it's an amazing panel. I get to sneak peek at everybody because I put the agenda together. So I love it. It's going to be really impactful. And I really want to encourage people, if you have not registered yet, if you've not thought about it, if you have a friend or a neighbor, someone that's close to you that you say, you really should get involved in this. I know in your group, Gigi, you will be replaying some of the clips, and the testimonies that come from this have been amazing from the other two groups. So I really just wanted to offer this time to celebrate you and all the work that you're doing to put into these amazing panels, because they are really changing lives. And that's what everyday leaders do. We change the world through our vision. So I'm just so proud of you. And Kelly, I'm always proud of you every day. You have been a trooper, and I just really support you, and wanted to give you the opportunity to celebrate your story as well. It's just so, so important. Uh, Gigi, any closing words that you have for people that are watching that you
Yes.
say to them?
Yes, ma'am. I definitely want to let them know to reserve their seat. Even if you don't know anyone going through it right now, this is going to be education in regards to breast cancer. Definitely reserve your seat today. If this is a cause that you care about, if you know someone who's going through it, or a loved one, someone, and you want to learn more about breast cancer, I'm telling you right now, reserve your seat, because you're going to hear from the survivors such as Kelly themselves. And also too, I want to say thank you to our amazing sponsors such as Melanie Ake with Everyday Leaders. I truly appreciate you. Michael D. Butler with Beyond Publishing, Ragnar Sinikas with World Woman Conference and Awards, and Daniel Gomez and Mari Gomez with the Mary Strong Foundation for sponsoring this event. I truly appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining tonight. I appreciate you so much. You are really just standing up for things that you believe in the world. And if people don't know you, they need to connect. So this is a way to do it. And I really appreciate you. And don't forget, on the Everyday Leaders channel here, we're going to have some amazing guests the rest of the week. Terry Earthwind Nichols. So if you remember, he was the first of the Everyday Leaders last year in 2019. He was number one. And so he's going to come on and we're going to talk about some amazing things. And then Jerome Myers is going to talk to us about dream catchers on Thursday. And then we go right into this panel discussion on Friday. So stay with us, join us, follow us. What we say is everyday leaders can change the world. You just have to get into the right mindset. So anything that we can do for you, please connect to me, everydayleaders.com. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining tonight. I love you. Best of luck. And come back and tell us how the event went, will you?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Have a great night. And thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
It's an honor.